Hello and welcome to BOI Weekly. We are 4 weeks into the lockdown as the country battles the coronavirus pandemic. But apparently, the stay-at-home directive is impacting people in different ways. Let's look at food, for instance. While some have managed to keep fit and maintain a decent diet, others have run wild with their appetite, eating everything that comes their way. Well, whatever it is, it's important that the country is producing enough food that can sustain the population, even in difficult times as we have found ourselves. The Bank of Industry, on its part, is supporting food production in Nigeria. Today on the show, we examine some of the Bank of Industry's interventions in the north-central region of the country, especially those businesses within the food and agriculture sectors. Damos Agro-Allied Venture, located in Guduba Village, Kuje Area Council, Abuja, is an integrated farm. On the other hand, Majida Fish Farm is run by a young man whose enterprise was supported by the Bank of Industry through the Youth Entrepreneurship Support Program, also known as YESP. I'm Kayode Alayande. Stay close for details.
Have you ever imagined a time when you could apply for and get a loan from the comfort of your bedroom? Or prayed that the processing time was shorter? Well, it is now a reality with the fast and swift Bank of Industry real-time online loan application initiative.
The BOI Online Loan Application Portal is designed to deliver access and convenience to prospecting SME customers by ensuring that applicants need not have to physically visit the bank. Applicants simply have to submit all necessary documents via the online portal with the liberty to select their preferred BOI state office wherein their applications will be processed. How it works? Simply search the keyword Bank of Industry and download your mobile app from Play Store for Android users, BlackBerry App World for BlackBerry users, and Apple Store for iPhone users. Click on the Apply button. Click on Register to register your account. A verification link and tracking code will be sent to your registered email address. Click on the verification link to facilitate login. Once logged in, you can complete your application, submit, and click on Continue to start tracking your loan application. An email will be sent to your email address confirming receipt of the application. With this initiative, BOI has reduced its loan application and processing turnaround time. Start applying for your loan right away. Bank of Industry, transforming Nigeria's industrial sector.
This is Damos Agro-Allied Venture. The farm sits quietly on a 5-hectare expanse in Guduba Village, Kuje Area Council, one of the satellite towns of Abuja, Nigeria's capital. It's an integrated farm, breeding catfish, pigs, and chickens for eggs and meat. Having remained in business for over 14 years, Damos currently boasts of 5 pens housing a total of 4,000 broilers and 6,000 layer birds, housed in battery cages for egg production. What's more, Damos has a mill from where it produces adequate feed for its livestock, many thanks to the intervention of the Bank of Industry. The mill ensures the production of requisite mix of raw materials for producing high-quality feed to guarantee quality eggs and livestock. I met with the managing director of Damos, Mr. Augustine Agorua, on the farm. Before we eventually settled down under a pen, the chief promoter conducted us round the facility.
This just had retail. So that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 4, 8, 4, 6. Wow. Actually 9. It's supposed to be 1, but I think we lost that one.
In discussing the impact of the Bank of Industry on the enterprise, Mr. Agorua tells me the story of Damos is a long and winding serial entrepreneurial curiosity that culminated in farming.
Damos started many years ago. Damos started while I was an undergraduate. I started to do some small business based on monies from friends and family. Actually, what got me in on this line was that I actually started a restaurant as an undergraduate. And that restaurant taught me one lesson, that a lot of people plan to eat, surprisingly, but people plan to eat, and so they make a budget for food. And once people make a budget for food, they pay for their food. So while that restaurant was on, 2 things happened. I noticed that to be able to cook for people, I needed inputs. And those inputs were sometimes difficult to get. I couldn't understand why they said there was ugu everywhere, there was vegetables everywhere, and every week I wanted to buy, there was a competition to buy them. And the same thing for meat, and the same thing for chicken. So it opened another line of business for me. Though my core business initially was the restauranting business, I realized that I was tending towards realizing how could I not have what I wanted when I wanted them. And at the time I wanted them. So by the time I graduated, that was when the boom of catfish farming and all that started.
I want to believe that you had quite a number of options in terms of investors who would help you when you wanted to start the business. How did you end up with the Bank of Industry?
First of all, the commercial banks lend at very high rates and don't have enough to be able to give you what you want for the time. Agriculture is not trade. You don't sell and recover money, so you need to invest, and there's a waiting period. And most commercial banks are not willing to give you that waiting period for you to start paying back. So initially we started with some government-funded schemes that gave that opening, where we had the CBN schemes for agriculture. From those CBN schemes, they now metamorphosed into getting to find out that Bank of Industry actually does finance, not just industry like their name is, but they also finance agriculture and production. And even so, that's how I stumbled into, because we're looking for what you call financing that is designed and tailor-made for farming. So with a good moratorium, with a long tenor, that you'll be able to actually make an investment and recoup your investment and pay back your loans well. That's how I stumbled into BOI.
What's the story of Damos? How did you start?
Our story is a pretty long story. First of all, I got there and I had to meet what you call their business service development person, who could help me build up the business plan and the whole business, and to be able to relate to BOI what I wanted and capture how they would be able to help finance the business. And that was a long process. The process of finally saying, these are the options that they have. There's a micro, very micro level scale, then there's a small, and then there's a macro. So we all got down to the fact that the SMEs is what I can be able to access as a starter at this time. But that process was not an easy process. From the point where we began the process, they kept on making demands for the prerequisites they have already asked for. And I went through that whole process, and I told myself, I'm going to ensure that I get all these things out. The truth was that they kept on encouraging me that this process is real, be patient, keep going through it. I told them we're going from one farming season to another farming season. Can't you see that if I don't get it now, it'll be difficult to do this? They just said, look, keep planning, keep organizing, keep investing. This will come through at some point. And finally, one day, I provided all the requirements and they told me that I'd been given an offer letter. I said, wow, is that an offer letter?
What's the structure and focus of the intervention?
The loan was structured in two phases, or in bits. First, to finance the cages that would take the birds till they grow out.
What's the size of the cage?
We have 40 units of cages, 4,000 bed spaces actually. So that's what they were financed to do, 4,000 bed spaces for that. So that's what you have there in that pen already set up. And now the process is we provide a vendor or someone who makes cages. BOI actually goes into a partnership with them to ensure that they provide these cages. They provide the cages, I certify that the cages are good, and then BOI pays them for the cages. And that's how the arrangement works out. Same for the birds, same for the feed. For the birds, we got a veterinary doctor who is qualified to be able to go to the companies themselves who provide these birds, bring in these birds. We actually stock 4,200 birds to create room for mortality while we're raising them, so that we'll have, at the end of the day, a batch of 4,000 to be able to stock. And then they also provided feed. Because we already have a feed mill in this farm, we didn't want finished feed. We designed it in such a way where we can actually process our own feed, which will be better for us. So we also got a vendor who could supply the materials for the feed, which is what you already seen, the maize, the soya, and the other micronutrients that are required, and the concentrates. So that's what we have. And so every now and then, as is required, we mix up the feed to feed the birds. So from right on now, we have all the feed. BOI financed all the feed that is requisite to feed these birds till they come to maturity and start producing the required results that they get towards producing. So that's how we are. Okay. So really, the money, like they say, BOI does not try, within this scheme, they try not to actually give money per se. They provide what you actually want them to provide, and that's how this was structured out.
Which of the BOI funds did you benefit from?
There's the BOI core fund, because at the beginning of the process, we were told the different categories that there were. There was a Dangote fund, there was a CBN fund, there was actually a BOI fund at different interest rates. So while the process was on, we were able to see whether we could access the BOI Dangote fund. But that, within the system, they were able to organize that, and that's what they were working with, the BOI Dangote fund.
So I'd like you to describe to me what the impacts of the intervention has been on your business.
Though at the beginning, throughout the process, it was sometimes a tiring process, but it's come to fruition. And like every farmer, for me, the process was like, this is the harvest for a BOI process, but this is actually the beginning of the farming process. And so at this junction, I'm happy, and I'm glad the relationship was able to get to this point. And the greater part is that it's going to get bigger as we go, because like the last time they were here, the chicks were just day old. Now you see, they're growing, and it's real, and it's actually functioning. And one come back in another few months, they'll be in the cages, and another few months you see eggs, another few months, the whole process keeps growing and growing and growing and growing, at least. And that's my passion, to see that thing that didn't exist start and then develop to become something that everybody can appreciate.
So what's the big picture for Damos?
The big picture is for Damos one day to become a major player in providing food for Nigerians in whatever way we can. At some point in the future for Damos, we'll be farming the raw materials that we need to feed the birds. For the pigs that we just started, it was an experiment to find out. The whole of Asia is going pork. And I asked myself, why is Asia doing that? It's the fastest way to feed a rising population. Those things are huge. They're good. And as you grow them, you see that once population keeps increasing, we have to find a way to feed ourselves. There's no way Nigeria will keep moving forward without us feeding ourselves. We can't get people feeding us. And we have good land, we have good temperature, we have good weather, we have everything that is God has blessed this country with to be able to take care of ourselves, at least give ourselves our own food to eat. And I want to be a big player at that in the near future.
Do you have any concerns whatsoever that maybe at some point you may not be able to fulfill your obligation to the Bank of Industry? Are there any threats?
Usually, because I'm one person who likes to see a process out in my head and on paper before I engage, that's part of the whole arrangement towards having the relationship with Bank of Industry. We sat down with the account officer, we sat down with the state manager, we looked at the repayment process. We looked at all the worst case scenarios, we looked at all the risk elements and said, look, we're going to structure this out. They give me a tenor, it's a 3-year tenor with a 6-month moratorium. So within that same tenor, we checked in all what could go bad, what can go wrong, and what can be done to mitigate those things. So that's part of the process. For me as a farmer, that's really where my juices come out. If this goes bad, what do I do next? So there are fears, but that's part of the planning process. That's part of the whole planning process for the structuring of the loan, to be able to get a moratorium that gives you room to develop and to get a tenor that gives you ability to actually raise the birds in that same process. And if anything go wrong, raise the birds again and give you that same time to raise it again. And that's the beauty of the BOI Bank of Industry relationship.
Have you ever imagined a time when you could apply for and get a loan from the comfort of your bedroom? Or prayed that the processing time was shorter? Well, it is now a reality with the fast and swift Bank of Industry real-time online loan application initiative.
The BOI Online Loan Application Portal is designed to deliver access and convenience to prospecting SME customers by ensuring that applicants need not have to physically visit the bank. Applicants simply have to submit all necessary documents via the online portal with the liberty to select their preferred BOI state office wherein their applications will be processed. How it works? Simply search the keyword Bank of Industry and download your mobile app from Play Store for Android users, BlackBerry App World for BlackBerry users, and Apple Store for iPhone users. Click on the Apply button. Click on Register to register your account. A verification link and tracking code will be sent to your registered email address. Click on the verification link to facilitate login. Once logged in, you can complete your application, submit, and click on Continue to start tracking your loan application. An email will be sent to your email address confirming receipt of the application. With this initiative, BOI has reduced its loan application and processing turnaround time. Start applying for your loan right away. Bank of Industry, transforming Nigeria's industrial sector.
From Enugu, we head up to the north-central part of the country, Nasarawa State precisely, where we met a young fish farmer supported by the Bank of Industry under the Youth Entrepreneurship Support Program, YESP. He speaks about his love for fish farming, as well as how the capacity building program embedded in the YESP initiative has helped him.
I started my fish farming career August 2017 when I heard about the YES program, Youth Entrepreneurship Support Program by Bank of Industry. I wanted to apply and something is telling me, no, don't apply, because I feel like I'm not going to come out successful. But something keep on pushing me that you can do it, you can do it. Then I applied for it and my name come out as one of the successful candidates of it. After the shortlisting of the names, we go for, we did online training for capacity building program training online for 9 weeks. After the capacity building program, we did in-class training for 1 week. The capacity building program helped us in developing our entrepreneurship skills, knowing how and where and when to go on with our businesses. helping us to identify our target markets and helping us to know our target markets as well, and helping us to really identify which market segment we should go into. So it's really the in-class training really give me this joy, and it boosts my morale towards this particular business. And with the help of Bank of Industry, I started this. I got 2 million naira from the Bank of Industry, and I use it basically for buying my feeds, my juvenile fish, my machineries like generator, and some other like scale as well, and some other farming tools like rubber, nets, and other things. The loan impacted my business like 100%, in the sense of without it, I could have not started this, because it helps me in purchasing almost all the materials I need for this business. As I say, the feeds, the generator, the scales, and some other little things I use for the business. The only risks I identify in this business is challenges of water, because at the beginning I normally used to change the water like a week or 5 days, and realized that leaving the water for like a week or 5 days affects their growth, and it's like come up with a sort kind of disease when you allow the water to last longer than 2, 3, or 4 days. The challenges I face was like it affects the growth of the fishes, and it affects their health as well. I'm going to advise anybody that is going into this business to fully focus on the business, because it's a lucrative business. The market is there. The markets are just waiting for your products. The support of the Bank of Industry means a lot to me. And all I need to say to them is thank you for giving me the opportunity to start this. This is what I want from the onset. This is all I need to do. But my major problem was finance. But with the help of Bank of Industry and the YES program, I was able to start this. Over here we have our last set.
Before we left Mejida Farms, Ibrahim Ahmed, a credit analyst and relationship officer with the Bank of Industry under the SME division of the FCT State Office, came around to monitor the farm's performance and interacts with the chief promoter, Ibrahim Umar. He also tells us about Mejida Farms and why they supported them.
Mejida Farms applied for a BOI facility under the Youth Entrepreneurship Scheme. He was able to meet up all documentation, all requirements, and drew down on his facility in November 2017. The farm has been operating really well. He has been managing it fantastically well. He's up to date in payment. He's still in his moratorium period, but over the past 4 months, he has been consistent in repayment. He mostly pays back the day his statement is sent to him. But we're keeping a close eye and monitoring the project to ensure that when his principal repayment starts falling due, he maintains that capacity to repay. His moratorium is to expire in the next 2 months, so he's supposed to start paying principal June. Based on the operations we've just witnessed in this farm, I'm pretty confident and I don't see any reason to be worried. The chief promoter and the farm manager have shown their capacity to run this farm efficiently. I feel they even have the capacity to do more than they are doing right now, and we look forward to nurturing them from this phase in the implementation of their project to the expansion up to the point where they fully blow up into a large enterprise.
BOI continues to support businesses that engage in manufacturing and production activities, either in agro-processing, solid minerals, information technology, oil and gas, and even the creative industry, just to name a few. Make a move today and let the Bank of Industry support you. Visit their website at boi.ng or call any of the numbers that would be displayed at the end of the show. Remember, you can apply for BOI loans online. Simply download the BOI SME Loan app from the Google Play Store and follow the instructions. Feel free to tweet at me at KAY Alayande for further inquiries. Watch previous editions of the program on youtube.com by typing BOI Weekly in the search area. And that's our show for today. Many thanks for watching. I'm Kayode Alayande. Bye now.